In the 80s. They're gonna fire this up later.
Oh yeah? So what's it out of? It's from Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
– 40,000 cubic inches.
'Huh?
What time is it? What time is it?
9:52.
8 minutes. We might as well just stick it out here. Oh my God! Look at this, Robert. Look at this. Look at this thing. This thing is freaking amazing.
Welcome to the snow engine building. Glad to have you here this morning. Little history on the engine. This engine was built for the Snow, Steam and Pump Company in Buffalo, New York. Serial number on this one is 308. We don't really know how many of these engines were built. Maybe a half a dozen of them in the country still operating in various locations. Snow engines were manufactured until 1957, and there are various designs improvements made over the years. They ran up to 4,000 horsepower by the time they were through building these snow engines. This engine is used to pump natural gas. When wellhead pressures drop, they use these engines to raise the pressure up to deliver the gas to the customers on the line. This particular engine was one of 2 shipped to towns, New York, and then hauled on freight wagons to the Zora Field, gas field, 10 miles away. There's pictures over here in the information building of this center section, just this part here in the middle, being delivered to the Zora Field from the railhead, and there's a hitch of 10 horses pulling that one section. This engine was used at the Zora Field from 1914 to 1941. It was then dismantled and moved to near Buffalo and was used to the Bethlehem Steel Plant to pump coke gas. The engine was taken out of service in 1976. A few specs on the engine, it pumped 180,000 cubic feet per hour at 120 RPM. And it's rated at 250 pounds working pressure. If they needed to raise the pressure higher, they would have a second engine in the line that would raise it up to perhaps double that pressure. This engine burned 4,000 cubic feet of natural gas per hour, which seems like a lot, but I think that works out to around 2% of the gas it's pumping. Here we use LP gas to fire the engine. It burns about 12 gallons of LP per half-hour run. The engine has a 20-inch bore and 36-inch stroke. That adds up to 41,000 cubic inches. Develops 400 horsepower and 26 foot-pounds of torque. And anybody that knows diesel engines will tell you that horsepower is wonderful. But torque is what gets you down the road. So 26,000 foot-pounds of torque is a lot of torque. The engine is 60 feet long, weighs 100 tons. The flywheel itself is 12.5 feet. The frost and it weighs 12 tons. This is a horizontal design engine. It's much like a steam engine. Double-acting pistons. There's 2 pistons. It fires both sides of the piston, so you effectively have a 4-cylinder engine, 4-cylinder, 4-stroke engine. So how did this big old beast get down here to Florida? Well, Edwin Winter, who owned a large salvage company in western New York, was an avid collector of tractors and all things mechanical. And he offered one of these engines to the flywheelers if they would get it operational. It's sat in the weeds at his place for about 20 years, so it's a pretty rusty hull. And several semi-loads of parts arrived at Flywheelers Park in the mid-90s. Lou Donaldson agreed to head up the project, and work began in 1999. Blueprints provided the design for the base here. It's got to be very exact for the engine. There's 100 yards of concrete in this base. Thanks to a group of dedicated volunteers, 3.5 years after the start, the engine was up and ready to run. And Fred Telke, who heads up our crew here, was one of those members, was a member of that crew. Thanks, Fred. It's great to have this piece of history preserved. So how does the engine work? We've got 4 systems here. Down here, the blue pipes provide the air for starting the engine. The green pipes are water for cooling. The green pipes are gas. The yellow is for lubricating oil. The engine's water cooled. There's a hollow shaft that runs clear down through, so water is provided by a trombone valve, pumps water clear down through the shaft, through the pistons, out the other end. And you'll notice after this has run a few minutes, there'll be steam coming off the water at the end. We start the engine using compressed air. The operator will engage the dog clutch to start the air, flip on the ignition, and is now charging the accumulator tank with gas. About the third revolution, it will be running. There's a backfire provided by this coil box here. This engine has igniters rather than spark plugs. The igniters, there's 2 in each cylinder. Later versions of this engine did have spark plugs. This is an external roller cam. One lobe operates both the exhaust valve and the intake valve. This is the carburetor, known as mixing valves on this engine. Up here, this rotating unit is the governor. Got a shaft hooked to the carburetor that controls the speed. Several means of lubricating the engine. This engine has no crankcase. So here we have pressure oilers run off from the camshaft, have oil the cylinders, the pistons, the valves. Grip oilers lubricate the valve stems. And then this large shallow tank up here holds oil, which is connected to all these oilers on various shafts and bushings on the machine. The air intake comes underground, it's on the other side of the engine. The exhaust down through these pipes to a pipe that runs underground to the outside. The pump for the business end of this machine is on the far end. The bore of that pump is 28 by 36. It's a double-acting pump, so the piston is pumping both directions. And it's not actually pumping, the opposite is turned in so that it is just reciprocating in there. It's not actually doing any pumping. Any questions? That's right. They would heat that key up, get it red hot, put it in there, and it would straight in.